thank you so much for inviting me to come here today, and thank you, Ida, for all the tremendous and amazing work you are doing. Ida has also spoken several times at our meetings on story. Now the neighboring countries to Russia are worried. Ukraine, of course, since the full-scale invasion, and they are fighting for their existence. But also a country like Sweden are more worried than before, because we see the deteriorating situation in Northern Europe, in the Baltic area, and the Baltic states are worried and so on. So we can just imagine how it is to live inside Russia. I mean, if you live in a democratic free country and a NATO member, EU member, and some of since many years, it's hard for me as a Swede to understand how it is to be an oppressed minority in Russia today. Actually, the first time I got to know about minorities in Russia was when I was probably 7 or 8 years old and played the board game Risk, because on the board game there are several countries you should try to invade, like Yakutsk and Irkutsk and other countries. And I never understood at that time, of course, all the diversity in Russia and all the different nations and so on. But if I can be personal for 1 second, I can say that I have 2 kids, 2 sons. Their mother is, she will understand this for sure. She came to Sweden when she was 5 years old with a family because they were Kurds from Turkey. And what is interesting is that in that family of 5 people, 3 of them had different names in the passports than their real names, because the Kurdish names were not legal. It was illegal to have the name Sinar, for example, as her younger brother. So in his passport, his name was Ali, because that was the name the Turkish authorities gave him. And this is quite interesting, because my sons now are trying to, so to say, discover their Kurdish part of their of them, so to say. I'm getting more and more also a Swedish and Kurdish identity. So they are like trying to get out of the kind of assimilation they have been going through for so many years. And I think that when we look at Russia, it's interesting to see through the history that it doesn't really matter whether it's Imperial Tsarist Russia or Bolshevik Communist Stalinist Russia or Vladimir Putin's extreme right fascist regime. After, for example, after the Bolshevik coup in the fall 1917, the Finns directly asked for independence, and Lenin accepted that. And then a couple of months later, it was this treaty in Brest-Litovsk, and after that, Ukraine got independence, and Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and so on. And directly after Imperial Germany had a capitulation and the First World War was over, directly the Bolsheviks tried to regain these territories they had accepted independence for just less than 1 year before. They attacked Warsaw in 1920. They attacked Ukraine, as we know, and Ukraine were annexed to the Soviet Union, I think, in 1921. The Red Army vehicles were patrolling in Baku, August 1920, and they swallowed Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. So after that, there were only 5 countries who got independence from Imperial Russia, who were actually still independent in the early 1920s. It was Finland, it was Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland.